Before we begin, I want you to pause for one moment and answer something silently in your heart. Which country are you watching this from? And what time is it in your country right now? Think about it. Don't skip this, because the exact time you're hearing my voice and the exact place you're sitting in right now is not random at all. Some of you are watching this from the US at 1 a.m. with a mind full of overthinking and a heart that is tired of pretending you're okay. Some of you are watching from the UK before Fajr, feeling a heaviness that you can't explain to anyone. Some of you are watching from Pakistan or India in the evening, wondering why life suddenly feels strange and unfamiliar. And some of you, no matter where you're watching from, clicked this video at a time you never usually open YouTube, but your soul brought you here, because the message you're about to hear is connected to something that has been happening in your life recently, something only Allah knows you're struggling with. And let me tell you something, there is one sentence in this entire video, one line, that will explain exactly why your life has been shifting, why certain people suddenly disappeared, why your heart feels uneasy, and why nothing around you feels normal anymore. And I'm not going to tell you when that line comes. It's hidden somewhere in this video, toward the moment when your heart needs it the most. Most people will click away before they find it. Most people will never hear the answer. Allah is trying to deliver to their heart. Don't be one of them. Stay until the very end, because the country you're in, the time you're watching this, and the moment you pressed play are all signs that this message was never meant to miss you. Something in your life is being rearranged right now, and before this video ends, you will finally understand why. Let's begin. When Allah removes you from what you loved, He is protecting what you're becoming. Sometimes the first sign that Allah is rearranging your life is when He quietly removes you from something you thought you could never live without. A person, a place, a dream, a routine, something your heart was deeply tied to. And when it starts slipping away, you feel fear, confusion, and sadness because you don't understand why your heart is being pulled out of something that once felt safe. You ask yourself, why now? Why this? Why me? But Allah sees what your heart cannot see. He knows what your eyes don't know. He hears what you never heard. He observes what was happening behind the scenes while you were blinded by love, loyalty, or comfort. You only saw the good parts. You only held on to the memories. But Allah saw the hidden harm, the hidden intentions, the hidden consequences, the hidden dangers that were waiting for you ahead. And because He loves you, He didn't wait for it to break you completely. He didn't let you stay until your heart shattered beyond repair. He didn't allow you to remain loyal to something that would have destroyed your peace, your dignity, your future, or your connection with Him. So He removed you gently, even though it felt harsh. He took you away slowly. Even though you begged to stay, He created distance, even though you were trying so hard to hold on. You thought you were being rejected, but you were actually being rescued. You thought you were losing something valuable, but Allah was protecting something even more valuable. Your heart, your faith, your mental peace, your future. Sometimes Allah saves you by breaking your attachment to things that were never meant to walk with you into the next chapter of your life. He knows the version of you that is coming stronger, wiser, purer, more focused, more spiritually awake, cannot survive in the same environment that was quietly damaging your soul. You didn't outgrow that place or person randomly. Allah made you outgrow them so they could not follow you into a destiny they were never meant to witness. It hurts now because you're still standing in the middle of the story. But when Allah shows you the full picture later, you will say, Alhamdulillah, if I stayed there any longer, I would have lost myself. And that whisper you will say one day, that moment of clarity, that tears-filled sujood, that deep breath of relief, all of it will make you realize something powerful. What you lost was never a loss. It was protection. It was mercy. It was Allah pulling you out of what you were too loyal to walk away from. And when that day comes, you will look back and whisper through a healed heart, Ya Allah, thank you for removing me. I didn't understand it then, but now I see. You were saving me. The confusion you feel is not you being lost. It's Allah quietly redirecting you. Sometimes the hardest part of Allah rearranging your life is not the loss, it's the confusion. That quiet, heavy feeling in your chest when nothing feels the same anymore. When the things that once brought you joy now feel empty and distant. When conversations feel different, when faces feel unfamiliar, when your heart can't settle anywhere. You look at yourself and wonder, why am I changing? Why does everything around me feel blurry? Why can't I connect to what I used to love? And you think something is wrong with you. But in reality, something is being corrected inside you. When Allah shifts your destiny, your heart feels it before your eyes see it. Your soul becomes restless because it knows it no longer belongs in the places your body is trying to stay in. This confusion is not a sign of being lost. It's a sign that Allah is quietly moving you from who you were to who you're meant to become. Think of it like this. When a seed is about to break open, the soil around it feels tight, dark, uncomfortable. But that discomfort means growth is happening. Your confusion is the spiritual version of that. It means your old chapter is closing, but your new chapter hasn't opened fully yet. You're in between, and the in-between always feels confusing. Maybe you suddenly lost interest in something you once begged Allah for. Maybe you no longer feel safe with people you once trusted with everything. Maybe your heart feels heavy walking into rooms you used to feel at home in. This is not weakness. This is transformation. Allah is detaching your heart from what no longer serves your soul. He is removing your comfort so you can find clarity. He is shaking your emotions so you stop depending on the wrong things. He is slowing your life so you can finally hear Him. You are not breaking down. You are being rebuilt. And this confusing season you're in right now, one day you will look back at it and say, that was the time Allah changed my direction, without asking for my permission, but for my protection. Allah closes doors you begged to keep open because He heard what you didn't. There comes a moment in life when Allah closes a door you were begging Him to keep open, and it feels like your heart is being crushed. You ask yourself, why would this end? Why would they leave? Why would this break now? After everything I invested, you replay memories, try to fix things, try to force what Allah is already removing. But the truth is simple and painful and beautiful. Allah heard something you didn't hear. You only heard their sweetest words. Allah heard their hidden intentions. You only saw their best behavior. Allah saw what they did when you weren't there. You only felt their presence. Allah saw their absence in moments you needed them. You only saw the surface. Allah saw the depth. So when a door suddenly shuts, even when you cry at its handle, it's because Allah saw something on the other side that your heart was blind to. Sometimes the same person you love is the person your future needs protection from, and Allah won't allow you to walk into a storm while begging for sunshine. He will close the door before the storm reaches you. Think deeply. How many times in your life did you cry over someone or something you desperately wanted to stay? And years later you whispered, Ya Allah, you saved me. I didn't even know I needed saving. That is happening again right now. You think it's rejection. You think it's loss. You think it's not fair. But Allah knows the full truth. And if He is removing someone, it means their chapter in your life has already given everything it was meant to give. If they stayed longer, their presence would have turned into pain. Their support would have become stress. Their love would have turned into a test. So Allah closes the door before your heart gets destroyed. And when He takes someone away, He doesn't leave an empty space. He fills it with wisdom, strength, clarity, and people who are sincere in ways you have never experienced before. One day, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day you will look back and say with tears, Alhamdulillah, if Allah didn't close that door, I would have never discovered who I truly am. Because sometimes the end you didn't want is the beginning you've been praying for without even realizing it. Your loneliness is not emptiness. It's the private classroom where Allah rebuilds you. There comes a moment in your life where Allah pulls you away from everything and everyone, and suddenly you find yourself sitting in a silence you never asked for. A silence so loud that it forces you to feel things you've been avoiding. A silence so deep that it exposes the cracks in your heart you kept covering with noise, people, and distractions. You start noticing how alone you feel, how quiet everything is, how the world around you hasn't changed, but something inside you has. And for the first time, you feel disconnected from things that once felt like home. This loneliness is not a punishment. It is a private classroom. Allah is not isolating you because you are unworthy. He is isolating you because you are being transformed. You see, when Allah wants to rebuild a heart, He first takes it away from anything that was breaking it. When He wants to restore your soul, He places you in a phase where nothing makes sense, except the need to return to Him. This loneliness is not empty. It is full of meaning. It is the place where your soul catches its breath, where your wounds finally rise to the surface so they can heal, where your heart is cleaned from old pain, old people, old trauma, old expectations. It is where Allah teaches you what no human being could ever teach you. In this stillness, Allah shows you who truly cares for you and who only cared for your energy. He shows you which doors were taking you away from Him and which doors will lead you back to Him. He shows you the weight you were carrying that was never yours to carry. And slowly, your heart begins to soften. Your ego begins to quiet down. Your vision becomes clearer. Your soul begins to breathe again. You start realizing that the people who faded away were not meant to follow you into your next chapter. The habits that fell apart were never meant to stay. The dreams that collapsed were too small for what Allah has planned. In this quiet space, Allah rewrites your self-worth. He sharpens your wisdom. He strengthens your patience. He removes bitterness from your past and replaces it with understanding. This loneliness you fear so much is actually the place where you meet the purest version of yourself, the version of you that was buried under noise, crowds, and the expectations of others. You're not being abandoned. You're being rebuilt, piece by piece, layer by layer, pain by pain, dua by dua. And when you walk out of this phase, stronger, calmer, more mature, more connected to Allah than ever before, you will realize something beautiful. The loneliness wasn't a trap. It was a bridge Allah used to take you from who you were to who you were always meant to become. The delays you hate are actually Allah positioning you for a future you're not ready for yet. There are moments in your life when everything feels paused. Your plans slow down. Your goals feel far. Your duas feel unanswered. Your progress seems invisible. And you begin to think, nothing is moving. Nothing is changing. Maybe my life is stuck. But what you don't see is that Allah is positioning you for something bigger than what you're asking for. Delays are not silence. Delays are not rejection. Delays are divine rearrangement. Allah knows the exact moment your heart is ready, your mind is ready, your maturity is ready, your character is ready, and your destiny is ready. But until that moment comes, delays, not to punish you, but to protect you. Because sometimes the blessing you want can hurt you if it arrives too early. Sometimes the person you want is not ready to love you the way you deserve. Sometimes the opportunity you're waiting for would destroy your peace because your heart is still healing. Sometimes The success you dream of requires a stronger version of you that you haven't become yet. So Allah pauses your life to build the version of you that can carry the blessing without breaking under its weight. Think of it like a heavy rainstorm. You ask Allah for rain, but He withholds it because the roof over your head isn't strong enough yet. If the rain falls too soon, the roof collapses and hurts you. So He strengthens the roof first. He builds your foundation. He removes weak walls. He reinforces what needs protection. Only then does He send the rain. That is what is happening in your life right now. Allah is strengthening the roof before He sends the blessing. Every delay is shaping a new part of you. A visa part, a calmer part, a more patient part, a more grateful part, a part that won't lose the blessing after asking for it for so long. And one day, a day written before you were born, everything will open, everything will align, everything will make sense, and you will realize that the delay was not a pause in your story. It was the preparation chapter that made the rest of the story possible. You will look back and whisper, Ya Allah, thank you for delaying what I wanted until I became the person who could handle what I prayed for. When Allah rearranges your life, He blocks what you want to give you what you prayed for. There comes a time in your life when you try so hard to hold on to something, a dream, a person, a plan, a path, and no matter how tightly you hold on, it keeps slipping away from your fingers, and your heart breaks because you don't understand why. You think, I wanted it, I tried for it, I prayed for it. Why would Allah block it from me? But what you don't see is that sometimes Allah blocks what you want to give you what you asked for. You asked for peace. You asked for guidance. You asked for protection. You asked for a future filled with goodness. You asked for a destiny that brings you closer to Allah. But you didn't know that the thing you were begging to keep was the very thing standing between you and your dua. So Allah stepped in. He removed it. He blocked it. He closed it. He made it impossible for you to continue. Not because He ignored your prayer, but because He answered it in a way your heart couldn't recognize yet. You wanted the blessing without knowing that the path you were on would never lead you to it. Allah saw the storm. Allah saw the heartbreak. Allah saw the betrayal. Allah saw the spiritual damage that would have come if He allowed you to continue. So He blocked the door before it led you to destruction. You cried. You begged. You tried to force what Allah was removing, but every attempt failed because Allah knew that if He let you have it, you would suffer in a way. Your soul was not built to endure. Sometimes your protection looks like a disaster at first. Sometimes the biggest blessing in your life is the thing Allah did not let happen, because Allah does not ruin your plans to make you lonely. He ruins your plans before your plans ruin you. Think of how many times in life you begged for someone to stay, and if they stayed, your heart would have been crushed. Think of how many times you wanted an opportunity so badly, but if you got it, your faith would have weakened, your peace would have been stolen, your purpose would have disappeared. Allah doesn't just protect your dunya. Allah protects your akhirah, your iman, your heart, your dignity, even when you don't know you need protection. So when Allah blocks something, it's not rejection, it's redirection. He blocks the wrong job, so the right one can come. He blocks the wrong relationship, so the heart meant for you isn't delayed. He blocks the wrong environment, so you don't lose your spiritual identity. He blocks the wrong dream, so He can replace it with a dream that fits the person He is turning you into. You don't understand it now, because you're standing in the middle of the story. But one day, you will look back and cry tears of gratitude instead of sadness. You will say, Ya Allah, thank you for blocking that path. If you allowed it, I would not be the person I am today. You protected my heart from pain I didn't know was coming. You protected my faith from a test I could not handle. You protected my future from a destiny that wasn't mine. And in that moment, you will see what Allah sees, that every closed door was a gift, every no was a mercy, every delay was wisdom, every loss was protection, and every heartbreak was the beginning of a chapter written with more love than you ever imagined, because Allah never takes something from you unless He plans to replace it with something far better than what you were holding on to. Trust Him. One day, every blocked path will make perfect sense. If you reached this part of the video, then know something very clearly. Allah wanted you to hear this. Every word, every pause, every whisper, every reminder. Nothing was random. Not the moment you clicked, not the time you watched, not the emotions you felt in your chest while listening. Because right now, even if you feel tired, even if you feel confused, even if your life looks nothing like what you imagined, you are not alone. You have never been alone, and you will never be alone. Allah has been with you. In every silent tear, every private heartbreak, every qiyat dua, every moment where you didn't know how to continue, but somehow you did. Your story is not ruined. Your heart is not broken beyond repair. Your future is not delayed. Your destiny is not lost. Allah is rearranging everything around you with more love, more wisdom, and more protection than you could ever imagine. So breathe, slowly, deeply. Let your heart settle. The chapter you are stepping into will make you forget the pain of the one you just left. The doors Allah is opening for you will make you grateful for every door that closed. The people Allah is bringing into your life will make you understand why He removed the ones who weren't sincere. And the future Allah is preparing for you will make every disappointment worth it. Tonight, or whatever time it is where you are, go to sleep with one truth in your heart. Nothing taken from you was meant to stay. Nothing coming toward you can be stopped. And nothing written for you will ever miss you. Trust His timing. Trust His plan. Trust His mercy. Trust His rearrangement. And if your heart ever feels heavy again, come back to this space. Come back to this reminder. Come back to this voice. Because sometimes Allah comforts you through words, through reminders, through moments like this. May Allah heal your heart, guide your steps, bring you clarity, and fill your life with a peace that makes you say, Alhamdulillah, I finally understand. Until the next reminder, stay strong, stay patient, and stay close to Allah.